She was always on her phone, and a notification from an unknown Snapchat account caught my eye. What I found when I logged in was a nightmare. Hey all, I never thought I'd be writing something like this, but here we are. I'm a 25-year-old guy who's been in a relationship with my 23-year-old girlfriend for the past 2 years. We've always had a pretty solid relationship, or so I thought. Lately, I've noticed she's been glued to her phone, particularly on Snapchat. At first, I didn't think much of it, but then a notification from an unknown account caught my eye. What I found when I logged in was a nightmare. Let me take you back a bit. We live in a small town where everyone knows each other. We share an apartment and have a close-knit group of friends who often visit. My girlfriend's best friend, F24, has been particularly close to her lately, and my best friend, M27, is practically a brother to me. We've always had a trusting relationship, and I've never felt the need to invade her privacy. But this situation felt different. It all started about a month ago. My girlfriend began spending an unusual amount of time on her phone. She'd always been a bit of a social media junkie, but this was different. She was constantly snapping photos, sending messages, and giggling at her screen. I couldn't help but feel a knot in my stomach every time I saw her so engrossed. One evening, as we were watching a movie, her phone buzzed with a Snapchat notification. It was from a username I didn't recognize. Curiosity got the better of me. When she went to the kitchen, I picked up her phone and tried to unlock it. To my surprise, I guessed the password correctly. What I found shocked me: numerous messages and snaps from a guy I didn't recognize. The messages were flirtatious, sometimes explicit, and it was clear that this wasn't just a casual friendship. My heart sank. I decided to dig deeper. Over the next few days, whenever I had the chance, I'd check her phone. The more I read, the worse it got. This guy wasn't just some random friend. He was someone she was emotionally and possibly physically involved with. I felt like my world was crumbling around me. I confided in my best friend, M27, about what I'd found. He listened patiently and then dropped a bombshell of his own. He'd seen my girlfriend with the same guy in a cafe a few weeks ago. At the time, he didn't think much of it, but now it made sense. He encouraged me to confront her, but I wasn't ready. I needed more proof. One night, after she'd fallen asleep, I logged into her Snapchat again. This time, I found explicit messages and photos that left no room for doubt. She was cheating on me. I felt sick to my stomach. The next day, I decided it was time to confront her. I couldn't live with this secret any longer. I waited until we were both home and then calmly asked her about the guy. She looked shocked and immediately went on the defensive, insisting that he was just a friend. But her story didn't add up. I showed her the messages and photos I'd found, and she broke down in tears, still insisting it was a misunderstanding. Her best friend, F24, tried to mediate, claiming that she'd known about the guy but thought it was innocent. But the inconsistencies in their stories made me doubt her too. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of lies. I was torn between believing my girlfriend and the overwhelming evidence against her. I wanted to trust her, but the messages and photos were too damning. My best friend stood by my side, urging me to confront the situation head-on. The tension reached a boiling point when I found a recent message planning a meetup with the guy. That was the final straw. I decided to break up with her. Despite her pleas and explanations, I couldn't see a way to rebuild the trust that had been shattered. I moved out of our shared apartment and crashed at my best friend's place for a while. Now, I'm trying to focus on my own well-being. The betrayal has left a deep scar, and I'm struggling to move forward emotionally. I'm seeking advice on how to cope with the aftermath. Has anyone else been through something similar? How did you deal with it? Is there a different way I could have handled the confrontation? Any advice would be greatly appreciated.